deserved 50 off just 22 balls. The fastest 50 by a West Indian in a World Cup.
Evaluating West Indies batting versus Scotland. This is Windies Fix. No noise, just fixes. Greetings and welcome to Windies Fix. I am your host, Ryan Nelson, trusting and hoping that you all are having a wonderful day as I am here to have a discussion, in other words, an evaluation surrounding West Indies batting performance against Scotland. I am of the impression that most persons would be focusing on the win, and of course, the celebration will be there. But from my standpoint, I am happy for the win, but the batting that is supposed to be our strength needs to be worked on. Yes, it is the first game, but I am here to assist. Of course, on the surface, West Indies batting against Scotland looked functional, but in tournaments like this, functionality is not the same as control. This innings offered moments of intent, but also revealed structural gaps, particularly in how pressure was applied and sustained from the start. It is evident that West Indies scored 182 for 5. Scotland bowled out for 147. West Indies won by 35 runs. Applaud to Shimron Maya, player of the match, 64 from 36 balls. And I have to say that catch that he took one-handed was outstanding. A little look on the scorecard on West Indies batting innings. Brandon King, 35 runs from 30 balls. Hope, that is Shea Hope, 19 runs from 22 balls. That shows that the batting was somewhat weak at the top. I was watching the game, and the first 6 overs, West Indies was scoring less than 8 runs and over. But thank God for Shimron Meyer, Rovman Powell, and Sheffin Rutherford. They came into the party and steered the ship. But let's just look some more into the assessment of the team, because I'm not here to bully the team players or to bring them down, but just to be fair with my assessment, seeing that I want for West Indies to win the T20 World Cup hosted in India and Sri Lanka. All right, so laying the foundation. The opening phase lacked clarity. Rather than asserting dominance, for which I think they were capable of doing, West Indies allowed Scotland to settle into rhythm, with dots creating early friction. The bowlers of Scotland were impressive at the start. You know, credit has to go to Corey. Credit has to go to the debutant Davidson and also Mark Watt. They were very much effective at the start. But when you have your destructive players coming into the party, then all hell broke lose. But I mean, the power play wasn't navigated the way I thought it would have been, not owned, and that distinction shaped everything that followed after the dismissal of, let's say, Hope and the King. That's where Hetmeyer would come in and dance his way through the innings. If you're new to the platform, if this is your first time, the road is to 1,000 subscribers. So go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's talk about control middle overs unease. So the middle order wasn't bad in terms of tactical ability. The middle overs itself highlighted the central issue. And if West Indies players like Hetman did not have a good game today, then the innings to me will fell apart. But all three players managed the tempo of the game. The middle over in the T20 games is what we would call the tempo management area. So while wickets were preserved, momentum was there. The middle order responded to the condition, right? And they also helped to stabilize what was needed to be stabilized. That is, making runs, increasing the run rate, and stay as long as possible. And that somewhat pushes back Scotland because one bad over from Scotland, then you would have seen the face falling down. You will see the uncomfortable appearance in their body language. And I have to say that was what we needed from the West Indies team. Still struggling, but of course, Hetmeyer, man of the match. Um, he played a few out of class shot at the start, but from there, off he went. Credits to Sheffield Rutherford. Technical ability was seen. He's a 360 batsman. I love what I saw. And of course, Ravman Powell, his cameo was impressive as well. The team did not collapse, but you saw a level of being unease against bowlers like those players from Scotland. I think that needs to improve, but a win is just a win. Now, the individual impact, of course, Shimron Hetmeyer's name was mentioned several times. He provided that relief for us, in a moment that we thought that we would have struggled against Scotland. He's a player that I don't think is best at three because I think he's more destructive than controlling of an innings. So he will be a person that can balance the game because he's very good with the bat at his hand. But I think a 4-5 is better for Shimron Hetmeyer. But who's going to be a 3? Roston Chase, he's not on the best form. Shimron Hetmeyer was called up. He reached in time, of course, in excess of 160 runs against South Africa, a very good team. And today, he scored that runs that West Indies definitely needed to secure a chance to win against Scotland. And of course, he performed well. He accelerated. He was strong in the innings. He gave the bowlers problem. And that was a pattern that led West Indies to a steady trajectory in surpassing 170, 180. That was the moment that West Indies really and truly woke up. When Hetmeyer steadied the ship, then he allowed for his teammates to have a go as well. I talked about Rutherford, who was pretty good to me. He's not underrated. Remember that innings that he played against New Zealand in the World Cup in 2024. He was really good. I have friends who talk about him highly before he even came on the big scene. And of course, I think he's going to be a key player in West Indies' progress if West Indies win the World Cup. West Indies played a resilient innings, because they were wobbling, but because of the experiences, I would say, playing on that surface in Eden Garden, India, I think the players were somewhat adjusted to it. And knowing that they are fancy players of T20, then I think the experience that they had and still have comes to life and help the team to get a good score. But I think West Indies cannot score these score against better oppositions. But time will tell. So people, the innings was not the best to me. What is your thoughts on that? I would have to say here that the openers, they have to start with a better intent. Of course, I understand you have to assess the conditions, but West Indies can do better in the first 6 overs, leaving less pressure on number 3, 4, and 5. You know, and that would be building the momentum, setting the ship, and then the deliberation will come from the middle order to the back end when we can gun blaze against other opposition. But I mean, I am impressed with the win because the bowlers stood out, but it's all about assessing the batting from this point with other videos to come. So people, let me know your thoughts about evaluating West Indies' first innings against Scotland. This is Windies Fix, where no noise is made. We just fix the problem. So drop your thoughts in the comment section and let's have a discussion. So you all take care until we meet again.